world to see Matt Davis, the whole world.
I know you got that huge following, so that's probably pretty close.
Yeah. Billions. Hey, so I'm glad that Matt Davis, the owner of the train station, and I say owner, you and your wife own that, right?
That's correct.
And did I get it? It's train station. There's nothing afterwards. It's just train station gym, or
Yeah, pretty much. It used to be train station fitness, so
there we go.
I don't really know what that word means, so we don't use it that much.
And an IFBB Pro-Bodybuilder. Hey, you guys are. First of all, let's address some just obvious things. Both of us, since the last videos we did, have had haircuts.
Yeah, I got a question for you though. Did you cut your own hair?
You mind your own business.
Yeah. No,
Yes, I
do.
did. I cut my own hair. Right
I
there. It's a number. I think it's a number 2 or number 3.
Oh yeah, I have never paid for a haircut. You believe
Oh, I
that?
pay for them. I pay for them. So you do your own. How do you? I mean, you got all the. I mean, my dexterity to reach behind my head, even with mirrors. If I were doing something that looks like it requires some precision, I don't think I could do it like that.
Oh no, I've had like 30 years of practice. That's what it is.
How many times did you screw it up before you figured it out?
Oh, for 20 of those years. Drive Julie nuts because see, the way I look at it too is if something goes wrong, you just go all the way.
That's what I do. Yeah.
I have no problem with that. That's actually my preferred method there.
I had a bald head for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And I just got some feedback that it was easy maintenance, but it was not very flattering. Not very flattering. So, okay, are you coming back? The gym is open now?
That's correct. Yeah, we're running full force. We're not one of the big gyms that have saunas and pools and all of these amenities that are required to stay closed anyway, and so it's relatively easy for us to follow the requirements. We're already keeping things sanitized and wiped down really frequently, so it's not been too tough of an adjustment over here.
Well, and you said it, there's not 100 people in your gym at a time either. So
no, rare. I mean, in a busy hour like today's Monday, Universal Chest Day. We may have 10 people in here around 4:30 or 5, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's a decent crowd for us.
Hey, here's a news flash, by the way. I've done a couple of podcasts with you, audios, and we've talked about the old school gyms because I grew up working in a gym called Living Well Fitness Center, and I used to work out a lot of the same gyms you did. But if you think the saunas and whirlpools and eucalyptus rooms were clean before all this, you are mistaken.
You're 100%. It's amazing we made it through that.
If you have been in an old eucalyptus room or sauna from like an 80s or 90s gym, I think you're okay with the coronavirus.
Yeah. You got a good shot.
If you got one of those whirlpools back in the 80s and those gyms, your immune system is strong in a Jedi.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, hey, so let me pick your brain a little bit. And these videos aren't meant to be super long because I know you got stuff to do. But during this quarantine, we talked 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a little longer. We were just kind of getting into it or just in the middle of it. How have you been? Have you learned stuff that's new and different? Have you had some revelations about the fitness industry that you're in? What's going on in your world, in the gym world, in your brain?
God, I mean, who would have ever thought? There's still a lot of gyms that haven't opened yet. Across the country. I know a couple guys, and their gym's not open yet. Other pro bodybuilders. I talked to our mutual friend Chuck Carter just this morning.
Yeah.
And he's working in North Carolina or South Carolina. They just opened this week. So he's happy to be back in the gym this week, where we got to open on May the 1st. So I never
But I mean, did you learn new ways to communicate with clients?
probably not. no, we did work with some people, doing some at home stuff and just giving them tips and ideas. I mean, that is no way in the same like what we normally do. Um, but and I'll tell you what, we've got such a great group of people that the people that we normally work with, they're pretty well off in knowing kind of the things they need to be doing, and not just from an exercise perspective, but the nutrition and the what's this thing everybody's talking about, the Corona 15 or the quarantine 15, all that kind
Yeah,
of thing. I don't think we had anybody that had any issues with that because I think they looked at it the mindset of, okay, maybe we can't go to the gym and do 100% of what we want, but we can still do something. And
yeah.
you can always control what you eat and try to be healthy and try to do other things. So most people took the bull by the horns as far as that goes.
I found it pretty cool. I worked, my son, we're in quarantine. So he would come over. He's an essential. He works in a warehouse and he's 21. So he would come over and we would stay 6, 7 feet apart. But we just came up with workout routines in my backyard with some logs. We chopped
Okay.
wood. We would flip timing. It almost was kind of Rocky-ish. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, yeah. We've had a lot of fun with it. Actually, a lot of people are down in the dumps because they didn't get to go to the gym. But if you got to make lemonade out of lemons rather, and doing stuff like that's fun, especially guys like us. We grew up probably idolizing trying to do stuff like that. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah. If
know,
there's a box jump, I want to see how high I can jump. I want to see the height of the box. I mean,
yeah,
those self challenges.
right, exactly. So we've done some different things. And Julie and I have been out and done a lot of outdoor stuff just personally ourselves, and we've had a lot of fun with it.
That's what I was going to ask. The outdoor part. I do a podcast called Dayfire Podcast with Dawson Wheeler about adventures outside, and I think one of the things that people were taking for granted is being outside is healthy. That is part of the
Yes.
lifestyle that you preach. It's not just bodybuilding; it's part of a healthy mindset.
Oh, no doubt. And that's the other thing I've spent a lot of my time doing is just investigating. Um, I think when you look at a virus or things that are doing like this, right now, our best option is to just try to be as healthy as we possibly can because I really don't think we're going to be running away from this. It's going to get around, though the viruses always do. Ed said, I think, he expects it to be here for many years to come, and it's going to recycle itself. And the best thing we can do is just try to be as healthy as possible. And so I've spent a lot more time investigating and getting into the weeds on, well, what does that mean? We actually had Ed on the Chattanooga Fitness Expo podcast, and he gave his definition of healthy, and I thought it was just a wonderful breakdown of how he kind of sees it. But I've been doing a lot more of that, looking into. But you're right, being outside, soaking up the sun, breathing clean air and oxygen. That's as fundamental as it gets. And maybe this gave us an opportunity to kind of get back to some of those things because a lot of us busy and going. Maybe we neglect that in our normal life.
Well, it was almost if somebody came to you and said, "I want to be a bodybuilder," and all they wanted to do was do chest and pull-ups, and they didn't want to work on their diet or cardio or legs, you would probably go, "Well, you don't want to be a bodybuilder then." And I
Right.
think sometimes when we look at health, we go, "Well, if I'm running all the time, I'm healthy." Well, if your diet's not there, or if you don't know what your numbers are in your blood work, or if your mind's not healthy, it's this big puzzle that we only sometimes focus on one or two pieces. And I think the last month or so has kind of forced us all to go, there's a lot of other stuff I should be looking at. When the gym opens back up, the gym should be part of my life, but maybe not my life.
No, 100%. That's exactly what I've been preaching to people is these things that I've been encouraging people to do, for a while now. And it's hard. People are schedules and lifestyles and this and that, but maybe, they were able to utilize this time to figure those things out. Just going out for a walk. I think go outside in the sunlight, 15, 20 minutes of walking, nasal breathing. That's like one of the healthiest practices you can do right there.
Wave at a neighbor. Wave at a neighbor while you're
Yeah.
walking around the block. That's the other thing, man. I'm an introvert. I'm on. I like being on between like 8 and 5 o'clock, but I don't go anywhere. I don't. I'm not sure I would really want to go anywhere right now, but I sure do miss the opportunity to say no because nobody's
Right.
done anything.
Yeah, and we really haven't been out anywhere, other than grocery shopping. No restaurants. Still haven't done any of that yet. But I don't eat at restaurants anyway, so I'm kind of like you. Like other than the gym thing, it's not been that much different than my normal life.
I can tell you what I've rediscovered: my love for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I saw that. I saw a post
God,
about
dude, I'm eating those like Tic Tacs. I'm not. I'm not good or bad, but I've lost 12 pounds. So
So you ought to, Adam Chauncey at
yeah.
Nutrition World, Ed, one of Ed's right hand guys. You should have him on and discuss peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because he has mastered the craft of making the optimally healthy PB and J.
Well, then now I may do that. I thought you were going a different direction, like to poo poo my peanut butter jelly,
No,
and I
no,
was
no.
about to not do it.
Y'all could do like a PB and J workshop or something.
Like a how to,
Yeah.
that'd be funny. Hey, let's spend a few minutes on the bodybuilding part of it, man. And we've done this on the podcast, but we had not done it on video. And I won't keep you much longer. But when did you know you wanted to be a bodybuilder? How did you know you wanted to do that? And I know Arnold is pretty much the touchstone. Is he your touchstone, or were there other people that influenced you too?
Well, I watched Arnold for probably 20 years in the movies before I ever thought about competing myself. I really never entered my mind. But it was, getting to know, honestly, it was Darren Johnson. We trained at the same gym. This is 20 something years ago. Getting to know him, and he competed one weekend, and he invited Julie and I to go. We were just dating at the time, so that was maybe one of our first dates was to go watch Darren Johnson in a bodybuilding contest, and I thought, man, I might could do that. He made it look like a lot of fun. So that was the turning the corner right there was when Julie and I went and we watched Darren, and then through that I saw Tony. I saw a bunch of other guys here from Chattanooga competing, and it just looked like a lot of fun. So,
But Darren's problem is he was just never shredded. He just never really got shredded. That was Darren's big issue. He was the most shredded guy I
he
saw
was,
out, man.
yeah, like I've never seen anybody get like that so quickly. Like
God.
he he can do it. Even I think he's 51 now, and he could probably still be show ready in 6 weeks.
Yeah. Well, he was one of the guys. This was back a long, long time ago before I knew him, and I don't know him super well, not near as well as you do, but he's one of the guys you would see at Riverbend and go, "Dadgummit, how in the
It's
put your
it's funny
shirt on?"
because I same story. I saw him in Riverbend this now keep in mind in the 90s Under Armour did not exist, right?
Thank you.
So I don't know where he got a shirt like that, but it was like this just other layer of skin of a shirt
Right.
that you could see every ripple and veins and just abs I think he had that on with like a suit or something.
Like a
But
tie.
it looked pretty cool to me.
Yeah. Well, I just knew that I would go, we're not going to walk over that way again. We're going
Right.
to stay over here.
Right.
We're going to stay over here. Um, hey, when you first started working out, we've talked about this too, and this will give some feedback for people that watch us down the road. What gyms did you work out at? Where did you start? Are there some old school gyms you got into?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, back then it was when I joined. It was the LA Fitness was the chain. There's one in Hickson, Fort
Yeah.
Oglethorpe, Lee Highway. We had Tony on our podcast the other day, and I think he worked out in those same gyms. We all remember that. We all remember Vic,
Yes.
and I guess that was the hardcore gyms for Chattanooga back then.
I worked out, so I started at Living Well Fitness Centers. It is now a tire store on Brainerd Road, right across from Chili's. But that was like
Right.
Roman Health Spa, Century 21 or some first one. Well, I don't, and then it was Living Well. But then I got into the LA Fitness, and then it went to I think Club California. Um, After that, have you seen that building? It'll break your heart.
Which
The
where
LA
at?
Fitness in Port Oglethorpe.
No, not in a while. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
all tore up.
I heard it was in bad shape.
Yeah, they've kind of gutted it. It's open. I drive by it every now and then. I just think, man, I kind of wish that was still a gym there because it was basic stuff. That's the other thing. And I've never been, I've seen pictures inside your gym, but we got a lot of great equipment now. But most of the equipment back then was just basic, simple movement
Oh yeah.
stuff.
I mean, I've spent 20 years assembling that same type of equipment. I don't know if anything I have is, man, I don't know if anything we have is newer than 20 years old. Like,
That's awesome.
it's, I've searched long and hard for certain pieces that I remember using either there or some other gym, like even some of the old Nautilus equipment that with the chain drives and, uh, the old Body Masters. I have some of that. The Carrion was popular back then. And it was, I would tell you this. I haven't been into a new gym in a long time and seen a machine that has like a 6 or 7 or 800 pound weight stack on it. You don't see that anymore. You remember they used to have like the calf raises and I
Yeah.
mean even the chest press seemed like it had like 400 pounds of plate, and it was a real 400 pounds. It wasn't one of these we're going to put 400 on there and everybody can do 20 reps to make themselves feel good. It,
No, there
it
was no hydraulics involved. It was just, the pole through the hole with the washers around it, and you're pushing or pulling.
right.
Yeah. Ah, man, I miss it. I miss it. But it was good times, dude. It's some of this new equipment I like, but I'm not in a gym anymore. I haven't been to a gym now in over a year. I do most of my stuff at home, which is good and bad. My son goes to the gym all the time, but even he at 21 will tell me he likes the simple stuff. But they
Yeah.
don't even let him like at his gym. He can't do like deadlifts or some of the bigger movements because there's this light that goes on. I'm not kidding you.
No, I believe it. I've had people come here before, and they look around and they'll come up and ask me and say, "Hey, is it okay if I deadlift?" And it's like the first time I heard that, I was like, "If you don't deadlift, we'll kick you out." So
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy how that is now. But it's really based. A lot of the big box gyms now are catering to uh, much of the mainstream as they can, and everything's got to be comfortable and, of course, not intimidating. And sometimes that also means not as effective.
yeah. Well, usually, it's on pizza night or something where they're
That's
bringing pizzas and ice cream or something in there. Hey, how many people do y'all take at a time? Do you have a full client list or do you still take on clients?
no. I'm currently taking on. I'm probably still not back to full schedule like I was before. All of this was going on. So um, no, we're still kind of building back up. So we're openly taking clients. I think Julie and I both.
I posted some the other day, and then another minute or two, and I'll let you go to do your stuff. But a friend of mine posted about looking for a trainer, and I tagged like 4 or 5 folks that I know, like
Yeah,
you.
so I appreciate
Well,
it.
yeah, well, I said that because first of all, well, the reason I said it is because I think a personal trainer is just that. I think it's very personal because finding somebody that knows stuff, I don't mean this in a bad way. There's people that know some of the stuff that you know. But finding somebody that can connect with the client and really make it personal and understand them and listen, there's a chemistry there that I don't think you can force.
Oh, no, that's for sure. And I'll be the first to admit, like that might be the most important piece of the puzzle because, like you said, it doesn't matter how elaborate or in-depth the plan is, if you can't connect with somebody and motivate them to do it or help motivate them, then it's kind of over before it starts.
Yeah.
So it definitely, that's a big piece of it. And there's certainly people that do better with, I've had people that train with me and then they switch to Julie and they just get astounding results because they connect about it a little bit better. And I don't ever really look at other trainers and that critical about their methods of doing this and doing that, because a lot of times it's just finding your right fit and also somebody that matches your goals.
So, what kind of workout are you on right now? Are you on the every day? Are you a split, or do you just do what you feel like you should do, or do you still stay regimented?
Uh, well, I kind of vary back and forth. Generally, I'm very planned out, and I can tell you, I'll have a tentative, 8 or 12 week plan of training that I'm going to execute. I've really just kind of went more off of, getting back into it and having fun and building it back up and not trying to be too serious about it now because I know that time will come. And it's the same thing with the food. You can eat really clean food and you can portion yourself out, and you don't. But that doesn't mean you have to count every little calorie and every little gram of everything. And plus, as long as I've been doing it, I can almost eyeball it and get it pretty close to where I think I'm at. But I'm having fun with it right now, and that's sometimes that overrides all that other crap too.
Well, and we've talked about this before. Sometimes people put themselves in a box of I have to live this way, and they set themselves up for failure. I'm never going to eat donuts again. I'm going to work out like this every day forever. And then if you fail, then you've not built reality into it. I mean, I'm not saying you should give yourself excuses, but I also know if you tell yourself you're never going to eat bread, you're going to fail
No,
because
I
bread's
agree.
all. Yeah.
And here's one thing that I've really embraced is, and I think it was Charles Poliquin who used to talk about that first one I've heard, but it's really the myth of discipline, and that's what I've talked about the most, and what I apply to myself is it's not a matter things that you have to discipline yourself to make yourself do things you don't really want to do. Like everybody watching Tiger King on Netflix. How much discipline did that take? If you want to watch it, watch it. It
Right.
doesn't take discipline. I love working out. So like right now, I've been working out twice a day for the last month, mostly, and that's probably too much, but I enjoy doing it. I've had the extra time. I like, that's what I enjoy doing. So it doesn't really take any discipline for me to do that. So I try to challenge people to look at the things, and that kind of ties in with what you said about finding the right trainer. It also maybe ties into finding the right type of exercise. Maybe it's not lifting weights. Maybe it's riding a bike. Maybe it's hiking. Maybe it's something. But you fundamentally have to try to find something you enjoy, and that kind of levels out that whole discipline. Oh, and I failed, and then I got to go beat myself up type of thing. If I miss a workout, I don't really feel bad because I, failed myself on the disciplinary thing. At the very least, I feel like maybe I missed out on my little, you know, 1 hour of recess that day, as I call it.
As long as you tell me the answer is not burpees, then I'm fine. As long
No,
as
I'll tell you, I hate burpees.
I do too.
I'm not going to do burpees, and I'm not going to feel bad about not doing burpees. I mean, and for what I want to do, I'm not going to compete in a burpee competition. I just need to be big, muscular, and lean, and I think I can find much better ways to do that, so I can justify not liking burpees.
All right, hey, we're going to wrap it up with some comments. So we had Mark Napier said, "I don't know what this means. I'm gonna put it. Can you see the screen, or are you on your phone?"
I'm on the phone, but
Oh, he said,
oh,
"Go ahead."
that's 18 days to the Chattanooga Fit Expo,
Oh
which
yeah.
I was supposed to guest pose. I think he was going to compete in. So now I guess we're 18 plus 154,
Because we're back.
maybe.
And then one last thing, he said this. What is that about? 1 mile lunges. I
Okay,
don't know.
maybe, was that? I guess that was. couldn't remember if me and you talked about that last time, or if it was. Maybe it was. Maybe I was on with Ed or something. But we were talking about alternative workouts,
Yeah.
right? You can't go to the gym, and one of the common things is these guys are going to compete, or I want to get big muscular legs. And that's one of my workouts I've kind of routinely done over the years is just pick a distance and just lunge. It
Okay.
doesn't have. I I'll do a mile, but I've been doing it for 10 years. Maybe pick a quarter mile,
Hold on a
which
second. Whoa,
really
whoa, whoa.
sucks,
No,
by
no,
the way.
no. You stop talking for a minute. I love lunges. You do lunges for a mile straight. Just walk a mile doing lunges.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the workout. I mean, there's no other thing to do, and it's like the peak workout. Like I'll invite a group of people, and we're gonna work out, and we're gonna do legs, and we'll
That's
go to
it.
the track. You go around the track 4 times.
Well, I say that's a crap, but back in the day, we would take a break from a regular routine about every 2 or 3 months, and we would have 4 weeks, and one day would be nothing but deadlifts. I mean, like until you got sick
Right.
doing deadlifts. And 2 days later, and I'm not talking about like different things for your legs, it was all deadlifts or all
Yeah.
power cleans.
Same thing. Same
Yeah.
thing. And you can do that. It to me is fun. Yeah, I like working out with a group of people. You do stuff like that, and then it's also a challenge.
Yeah.
It sounds great. Like I love picking one day a month or every now and then, and just pick something that just sounds so freaking crazy uh, that you just don't believe it. Outside of lifting some stupid amount of weight, as I'm getting older, going the other way. But I'll tell you what, I'll challenge anybody that thinks they're the man in the weight room and come do the 1 mile of lunges, and you get about halfway through that, you start questioning a lot of things.
I go walk at the Camp Jordan quite often. And the next time I go, which will either be this evening or tomorrow, if it's not raining, I'm going to just see how far I can do lunges. It's a 2 mile track.
There you
And
go.
I'll send you a message probably over the vomit that I'm going to have, but I'm going to try.
Well, I remember like yesterday, 10 years ago, the first time I did it, I started with a quarter mile, and I was sore, man, for 2 weeks, I bet. A quarter, no body weight. I was squatting probably 600 pounds at the time. Like I was crazy in the gym, and went and did a quarter mile of lunges, and it just made me reevaluate my whole. Of course, Julie did it and she said it was nothing.
Of
So
course,
that's probably just to make me feel bad, though.
she can still do it and just make you feel bad. That's the
Oh
way
yeah,
it goes. All
that's
right,
probably
dude.
why. That's why I still do it.
She pushes you. All right, man. Tell everybody how to find out more about you. Where can they find you? Or is Facebook the best way personally just to find you?
Yeah, Facebook's good. Just Matt Davis on Facebook. Matt Davis IFBB Pro on Instagram. Uh, both of those are probably the easiest. So private message or however anybody wants to contact me, that's totally works.
And if somebody can't or doesn't have the ability, just private message me and I'll hook them up with you too if they're looking to get in your gym.
Sure thing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I know you're busy.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm
All right.
about to work out now.
I'm gonna see. I might try to go do it here in a minute.
I'm not doing legs today.
I I wasn't until I talked to you, dadgummit. All right, see you, buddy.
All right, let me
All right,
know.
I will. Bye, man.
All right.